A very good day to Dr. Yang YY and my fellow friends. So we are from Group E and we will be presenting the Psychodevelopmental Assessment CDC case titled The Speechless Child. So these are our group members, myself, Shushmita, and my two other friends who will be presenting with me, Fatina Fariha and Divesh, as well as Sangeeta and Ayman Hazumi. So table of contents. So firstly, we have the background of the CDC case, and then from that, the screening results, and the issues pertaining the case, and as well as management lastly.
So for background, patient's name is MH. He aged 2 years and 6 months old. She was taken from mother. Patient was referred for isolated speech delay at 2 years old during his follow-up for left hydronephrosis, which was diagnosed at 8 months old. He was suspected to have isolated speech delay because parent noticed that the patient has limited vocabulary of less than 10 words, and he could not point to many body parts as well as has poor eye contact. This is the family first visit to the CDC clinic. Brainstem evoked response auditory tests were normal. For past medical history, he had left hydronephrosis diagnosed at 8 months old, and he had since been under follow-up 6 monthly at Hospital Pakar Kanak-Kanak HPKK. For past surgical history, not in list. For perinatal history, mother had gestational diabetes mellitus and was on insulin therapy. HM was delivered at 38 weeks, 1 day period of amenorrhea via emergency lower segment cesarean section due to maternal pyrexia secondary to chorioamnionitis. HM weighed 2.64 kg. Postnatally, HM was admitted in NICU for 8 days due to hypoglycemic episode and was then discharged well. For immunization is up to his age. For diet history, he was exclusively breastfed up to 6 months. Currently, he consumes 3 main meals per day and drink 5 ounces of milk twice per day.
So as for his developmental history, HM is currently 30 months old. So for his gross motor, he is able to run, avoiding obstacles, able to walk upstairs 2 steps at a time, throws small ball overhead, and is able to jump with 2 feet off the ground, which corresponds to 30 months. As for fine motor and vision, he is able to turn several pages of a book at a time, is able to do tower of 3 cubes, is able to scribble circles as well as vertical lines, and holds pen in tripod graph, which corresponds to 24 months. While for his hearing and speech domain, he recognizes his own name, able to point fingers to objects when requested, able to point to a few body parts. However, he has less than 10 recognizable words. He would usually say Papa, Mama, Susu makan, indicating he is hungry, and Sampah, indicating when his diaper is soiled. So this corresponds to 18 months, which is inappropriate for his age of 30 months. As for social domain, he explores objects in his surroundings, is able to play with other children, but do not share toys. He's able to eat skillfully and anticipates toilet needs by showing restlessness or vocalization. He may be dry by night and is able to undress alone, which corresponds to 30 months. So for his family history, HM is the only child to parents of a non-consanguineous marriage. His father is a 50-year-old retired army officer with no known medical illnesses. His mother is a 43-year-old clerk working at the ministry's office with no known medical illness as well. There is no history of developmental delay or special needs persons or malignancy in the family. As for social history, the family of 3 lives at Camp Perdana. The patient is being taken care of full-time by his father. So from the developmental assessment done at the CDC clinic, this is the screening marks that are allocated. So as you can see, for locomotor skills, a mark of 14 is given. and it is appropriate for his age of 30 months. While for manipulative skills, which is fine motor skills and visual skills, it is corresponding to 24 months, which is slightly regressed for his age of 30 months. However, for his hearing and speech and language domain, it is only corresponding to 18 months, which is very much regressed from his age of 30 months. Hence, HM has isolated speech and hearing delay. While for his interactive, social, and self-care skills, it is appropriate for his age of 30 months.
So, based on the history taking and the screening session, we identify a few important issues that need to be highlighted. The first one would be the isolated speech and hearing delay. As what Shushmita said, the child is having this delay at 18 months. And then the next issue would be the regression in manipulation and visual skills, which requires the immediate intervention. And then from history taking also, we found out that this child is having a poor eye contact. And this child having underlying medical issue, which is the hydronephrosis, which was diagnosed at 8 months old, even which is under follow-up. And since this is the only child, so the parents will have no experience and there is no benchmark for the parents, and there will be a less interaction with the other children. So from the issues, we came up with a few managements. So the first management would be the psycho-education for the family. As we know, education is important for parents to understand the relationship between the child. And then the second would be the speech therapy, whereby we emphasize on the communication between the verbal and the non-verbal, and also to understand the verbal and non-verbal cues and what other people mean in different settings. And then the third management would be the encouraging parents to provide more linguistic stimulation, such as, for example, introducing more colors or even body parts. And then the fourth management would be to introduce the child to more games like cube blocks rather than Lego cubes to stimulate his manipulation skills. Thank you. That's our end of the slide.